Hey guys, welcome to Ele-Radium. My name is Light, and many times people have been saying that they don't understand these mechanics, and so I'm here to help. And if you're wondering why I'm whispering, people are sleeping. And so what I've done here, actually, this guy. Yep, got it. So I've mapped out this mechanic. Now, we're actually going to go over this robot, and then we're going to go over the mechanics for the plush. So, this right here, you can see this side is blue. This is the leg, this is the arm. And then this side is the other side, the green side. So I want you to look at how this moves. Now the green side moves forward, just like that. Let me bring these together. Now you can see. Now, how does the reset mechanic work? Well, as you can see, these two servos, even though the hinges are not exactly in the center, you can see that they are pretty much centered. Now when you turn it on, the servos separate. It gives the same effect as if you put the hinges on the outside of the wheel. So when you stop the servos, everything goes to the center, therefore bringing the springs to the center. Now how does it swing like this? Because this spring allows the swinging motion, even though it's just going back and forth, and this spring allows it to stretch around the wheel. I've done tutorials on this robot. If you look for this guy, the profile on this dude, then you'll be able to find it. Alright, he can jump. Forgot about that. But yeah, so look into that. The mechanics are honestly not complicated, guys. It just takes a while to understand them, which is why I'm making this video. Because this is so much easier than what I used to do. Like, what I used to do was so incredibly hard, but this is easy. It's so simple. So once you actually learn this one singular concept, you'll be able to make it over and over again. It can have any height. Yeah, it can have any height. I don't know about anything else. But yeah. Now let's look at the Fabot. And we're going to look at the mechanics for this, because people say that this looks hard. The only hard thing about it are all of these little servos. Okay? To get the precise movement of the legs, yes, it's going to be hard because it's based on the plushie. But the actual mechanic itself is not that hard. It really is just servos, testing it, seeing if it works. It's literal just rotation. Like if you took this little servo right here, placed a block right there, and I'm going to measure this down to 0.9. I'm going to measure this down to the exact center. Now this is where it pivots on. This is the center which it turns on. Okay? Once you understand this, and that you could just place it on the block and you'd get the center, just move around that little piece. Here, wait, let me make this invisible. So this, as you can see, it's over here. I made it over here because if I rotated it on this axis, then it would be in the position that I would need it to get straight. So if you just figure those out, or you watch my custom plushie tutorial that I'll be releasing in like maybe a month, then you'll be able to understand this concept. And again, this little mechanic that we saw at first, blue, green, bring it together, servos work, bring it to the center, exact same concept. You can literally use this mechanic for just about any size build. Can I make a Sans robot? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But no, I don't think so. No, sirree. No, actually, this mechanic right here is actually worked on from my original robot build. So I had the fancy robot that was introduced into a Jesse video, yes. However, I created another one, which is actually the profile picture for this video. Let me load it up. And actually the plushie is much more complex than this, because the servos here are easy. We just had to rotate it like maybe 15 or something. On the plushies, we had to make it stand up, we had to add some animation. It's hard. But this one, the only hard part about it was that I had no experience with working with servos like in this way. So let me show you guys what this is. Just let it load in. And also tutorials for these robots are down into my video. Not this one, but you can make it using my plushie tutorial. So let's look into this guy. Coming in slowly so he doesn't accidentally break, because the servos are very heavy. Like really heavy, guys, so be careful. Do not use too many servos. So, I want you to look at his stands. Now that is all the servos. However, over here, you can see this little mechanic. I brought it farther down because I was like kind of testing out the concept, but the wheel right here with the two servos. Literally the same mechanic, except this one was a first version of the mechanic, so it didn't really go according to plan, so it works, but not as well as the one that I developed that is much easier, because I developed it for you guys. So just try to understand, it's not complicated. The only complicated thing about it was getting all the servos into position. Let me show you guys. So as you can see here, this is the little mechanic. Oh my god, no, I forgot about this. Okay, the servos are so incredibly heavy that it starts swinging rapidly. So anyway, here is the robot mechanic itself. I had it inverted, I don't know why. Yeah, like there. Now the servos, when I press forward, they bend. I also had some servos for jump, which is kind of why it's really heavy. But yeah. It's mainly just the servos getting it into the place that I want it to. Okay, you can test this out. Try it out, see what you like, and then bada boom. Okay, I cannot really give a tutorial on how to exactly place the servo, because it's not going to be as perfect as how I did in the video. So just try to understand, it's a process of trial and error. These servos right here, process of trial and error. However, the robot mechanic, literally I have a video on it. It's the Zeg looking robot, like kind of humanoid more robot. And it says like with reset mechanic, I believe, which is, this is the reset mechanic, the robot with the reset mechanic. Now this right here is the turning mechanic. Now, usually you want to have the actual robot itself heavier than what you put on these, because otherwise, let me show you. No, I don't think I have anything that would work like that. I usually kind of fix that. But what would happen is while you spin, the wheel would not be able to handle the weight of these things. That it would start to swing, causing the robot to like kind of fix into position. So if you turned, it would go back a little bit. Kind of like that, but I'm doing it with my own controls, so if you have it like this, you'll be able to like straightly bring it. But this part, it is also mainly trial and error. You can get the mechanic, but the weight system itself, trial and error. You have to like adjust the weights, try to find that little perfect weight system, because again, servos are heavy, and if you put too much, well, then you might have to start over and try to make it a bit more compact. And the more compact you get it, the better, which is why I placed it all into here. And actually, I've made this much smaller in the Plush bots. The Plush bots, it is super small, and I'm sure you all seen that. So once you learn that concept and understand that the wheels, they need to be at least a little more outside than this mechanic, because otherwise, either if it's too far down and there's too much weight down here, it's gonna like kind of fall and like tilt and kind of work as a pendulum, or the servos are gonna be so heavy they're gonna start swinging just like this. See what happens? It works like a metronome, guys. If you don't know how a metronome works, you have a stick that goes upward, and you have this little weight. Now, if you bring the weight farther down, then it's going to get fast. But if you bring it out, it's going to swing much more. But when you bring it down, it's much more controlled. When you bring it up, it's like kind of crazy, exactly like how this works. Now I'm going to bring it more in. It gets faster and faster. But if you bring it in to a point where it seems like it's in the center, then it's not going to swing anymore. Which is why you want to try to make it more compact. Now again, you do not need to make it look this complicated. Okay? You can use a couple servos for like whatever reason. I designed this to look exactly like a Robloxian, well, person. So I had to use a ton of servos because apparently we cannot customize the, well, the rotation for the servos, which is, it sucks. Okay, BMKTKD ask, is there a robot mech that can jump for mobile? No, unfortunately, mobile does not have keybinds to make it jump. You only have forward and like sideways and down. If you were to try to connect it to the jump button, every time you would jump out of your car seat, which is not what we can do. Which is why I actually have the jump mechanic attached to F. Now, a lot of people asked why I have a jump animation on this, but it doesn't jump. I used to. The problem was that there were so many servos that the servos for the jump mechanic could not lift this thing up without spasming into the void. So unfortunately, mobile does not have a working jump mechanic. Wait, do you guys have like extra buttons? I don't know. But however, I did make a couple designs for I did make a couple designs for a mobile mechanic that allows you to move your robot forward and back and turning and whatnot, because the turning mechanic over here and the wheels is not going to work with the pistons. So, yeah. So, for mobile, you want to connect the pistons to a switch. So, when you press W, it doesn't open them up or closes them when you press S. And then here, let me show you. Let me explain. Okay, so I finished explaining the robot mechanic. Now, let me actually explain the mobile turning mechanic, because why not? So I actually developed this like in January 2020, I believe. It was when the camera first released and RC cars were being developed, but they couldn't turn, so I developed this mechanic. Where are they? Servos. Here they are. Now, don't use this block, use plastic, but for the sake of teaching y'all, I'm using that. I'm going to move this outward. You can place a block and then put them on, but for the sake of time, I'm just doing this. Now, depending on how heavy it is, you want to add some more. Alrighty, now, I'm just going to save it over here, I guess. Load it. Now, I'll teach you guys how this works. So, when connecting it to mobile, and I've tested this on mobile, it works, okay? Now, you can add this to any robot. All you have to do is, instead of wheels, place down titanium blocks and just kind of scale them down to a miniature size. But it has to be titanium because titanium's density is really high, so it has a very unlikely chance to glitch into the ground. Now, I've tested this. Plastic does not. It glitches through the ground pretty fast. So use titanium. Just replace the bottom of the wheels with titanium, and that's pretty much it. And take out the turn mechanic, and in the center of the build, you want to attach this little mechanic. Now, to connect it, the boat motors, for backward S, or down arrow. For right, just try to do a button, I guess, that, like, I'm not really sure. I guess just for right, click right. For left, click left. For forward, click W. Sorry, wait. Hey, hello. Should make a plushie float fly instead of a raft or vehicle. Yes, I actually am doing that. For Worthy One, I'm designing him a broomstick, because he kind of looks like a wizard. Okay, for the servos, connect that. Left should be, well, left. Right should be right. And now I believe either the forward or back one, here. So bring the torque forward. Collision all of this off. And then, I guess this one should be fine. Wait. I think this one. Now, actually, I came by this by accident. So, alrighty, let me unanchor this and show you how it works. So the boat motors, they move you forward. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, if you can, try to disable the turning for the boat motors. But anyway, how this works is it kind of works based on a weight system. Now, imagine this. Now, again, I just wanted to say this. For when you do place down the titanium blocks, try to bring them like in the build. So, like, have the blocks kind of here. And you'll see why in a second. Because what happens is when you turn it, this is heavy on one side, making the center of gravity a little more leaning. Imagine you take a water bottle and you move the water to like one side of the bottle. Would the bottle fall? Yeah, pretty much. Um, it's kind of like when you bottle flip and, well, the bottle falls because the water inside shook too much. Kind of works like that. Once it leans, the build itself leans too, making it kind of turn. Because let me show you what happens with. Let me do the one that takes the least time to load in. Now, these are the wheels right here. Now, imagine you had the system in here, and what if the wheels over here, sorry, actually collision off, but what if I just disconnected these wheels? Then what would happen? If I dropped it, see, it would turn because these wheels are much stronger. Now what would happen if it leans? One side of the wheels are going to be much stronger, and so since these ones don't actually even move anymore, it's going to turn. Well, actually, it would turn this way because it's, yeah, y'all get the concept, I hope. I hope I'm explaining this good because otherwise that sucks. But otherwise, that's just about it. The mechanics are simple. Okay, the only hard thing about it is that you guys are watching a tutorial. So you guys are trusting me to instruct you how to build it. Now, I suck at instructing, so so you find it really hard when you see the final product. However, the final product, it looks complicated, and I designed it that way. So, I mean, first of all, you look super smart, and it's also super cool. But also because it has to be a little compact. But I made it complicated. The thing is that it's not complicated. It's simple. It just looks complicated. But once But once you're explained on how it works and you understand it, it's going to seem so much simpler. Okay. I want to show you guys something. Now, Asiel, he helped me with a robot like in 2020. And I've been trying to learn this mechanic, but I cannot. Now, this is supposed to work the same way as the robot mechanic that I showed you in the beginning of the video. Now, I want you to look at this, and I want you to tell me how this works. Because this thing is based on glitches. Okay? Now, I've been trying to learn this for about 5 months, and I could still never grasp the concept of this. Let me drop it down for y'all. So because two servos here are on each other, it pretty much like kind of reverses it and makes it opposite. And then there's this mechanic to help with the reset mechanic, which it does not work perfectly. But yeah. Now the turning mechanic, same one I've always had. However, look at this, okay? Would you guys rather me teaching you this or this? Okay, I mean, this one, it's literally just a bunch of blocks and hinges on the top, and this itself, this is the mechanic. Okay, all the wheels and springs you saw in the other one, that's the mechanic. But this one, 2 springs, 4 springs, 2 servos, 1 wheel, 4 pistons, a couple of hinges. That's all. Like, this is all it is. So, just remember, it's not hard. Why is my camera on? It scares me that the light is on. But yeah, this thing is super easy, guys. And once you understand the concept, you're going to be building so much better mechs, okay? Imagine literal titans. Now, the only problem here is that, well, if you were to make a servo for a giant mech, you would need to move this outward, like very much outward, and add a block just extending all the way to there. And that way, when the servo moves, it's going to extend much more outward, allowing more swing to the arm. Because otherwise, it's just going to, like, kind of waddle a little bit, which isn't what you want. But yeah, super easy concept, guys. Once you get it, you're going to be a master at mechanics. Well, at least you might look like one. But I'm serious. These robots are super unique right now. Nobody has like been creating them most of the time. So if you get ahead and learn these mechanics, then you might just be ahead of a new generation of Build-A-Boat players. Okay? So go down, join my Discord channel where you can like post your builds. I will react to them. I love to see your guys' builds. They look so amazing. You can also chat with me sometimes. You'll get some upcoming events. Maybe I'll let you guys join in some games that I might play for fun. And yeah. So there's also my Reddit where you can see some of my awesome builds. And my Instagram where I have nothing, but if you join, I might be convinced to make something. And yada yada. So I'm going to be doing a Jesse video next week, or, well, I've already done a Jesse video, depending on when you watch this video. But, yeah, subscribe to my channel, wait for some upcoming awesome events, and whenever I get monetized and can actually get an editor, I will remake all the tutorials. Except it's going to look much better, so do not worry, guys. I got you. But get ahead of the game, y'all. This is going to be popular someday, I can tell. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.